Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of R2V Real to Virtual Racing League. Today we are off to Brno for some Moto 2 action. We'll be riding the 2020 Moto 2, so the 3-cylinder Triumph 765. Not particularly fond of the mod. It's handles like a car, to be brutally honest with it, and I don't have very good confidence in it, so it's not going to be an easy one. But we have a pretty good grid of riders. I'll get into some certain people when we get into the end of qualifying. Unfortunately, my qualifying didn't go to plan with my recording. There was basically I had a mix-up. I thought we were doing a pre-qualifying, then a qualifying. So unfortunately, we'll be going straight into the race. But I do have the results from qualifying. But yeah, you all seem to love the previous round 2 at 1976 Hockenheim on the Superbike Legends pack. I'm really looking forward to continuing this series. But anyway, let's jump over to the end of qualifying. So it was my teammates Nerb and Nerb2, two Americans, Californians I believe, absolutely rapid in qualifying, taking first and second. VS Master, you might know his name, he makes a lot of mods for this game, comes home in P3. P4 is Zonta van der Gerberg. Next year, this season, will be riding a Moto 2, son of Jurgen. He's a bit rapid on this as well, just like real life. I'm in P5. Another one of my teammates, Benjamin, is in P6. Now you might notice P10, Biker720, you might know him if you watch my channel, and just behind him, Now Moto News. You might recognize his name from Facebook or any Instagram. He has a page for all basically bike news, so he's a lot. It's quite a stacked grid, and there's other people in KG, Mr. Curve, Doc Monster, and a few other people that are pretty much in every week. So it is a quite hot grid. And for me to be in P5 just behind a real life Moto 2 rider, I was pretty happy with that. And that was my fastest lap I'd done around the track. Before the session, I hadn't even done 2 minutes, so to get down to 2:03, I think the track rubbed in quite well because I could have went quicker than that, which is pretty scary to think. But yeah, P5 for race 1. I was looking forward to this one. Let's see what we can do. So here we sit on the grid, middle of the second row. Pretty big field of riders behind me. Zonta to my left, the two Nerbs just in front of me. But here we are now. We're going up to four red lights on this, and I was using launch control, and I actually, for once, get quite a decent launch. I actually get a better launch than Nerb 2. Tag him up the back. He almost goes down. I think he stayed on. We'll see in a minute. He does later repass me, so I hope he does. We have a look at Zonta up the inside. He absolutely murders someone into turn 1, completely gets that wrong, and we're happily and luckily up to P3. I'm not too sure who he collided with because he didn't have a name, but ahead is Nerb 1 and Nerb 2 is right on my back wheel. I give him a little wave, apologies for the tap up the back. Again, he's one of our teammates, so I kind of didn't defend him too hard and just leave him have it. This guy is rapid. It would be in my best interest just to get in behind him and follow him for a few laps and see, can I get into a rhythm behind them. Now, early doors, I am taking very tentative. This guy just spawned out of nowhere up the inside, and then another guy goes up the inside, tags the two of them, and I end up tucking the front in sympathy, trying to avoid the bike. So, good start, turns into a disaster by turn 5. Aggressive move from one of them, took out the other guy and left me nowhere to go, unfortunately. But we are probably about P7 or 8. The timing screens don't really work very well on this game, unfortunately, online. And someone then spins out weave to take avoiding action there, and then whoever's behind, he took full advantage of that because he closed right up to the back of me. So unfortunately we lost the toe from Nerbs 1 and 2, so we're going to have to fight our own race here now. 10 lap race. There will be 2 races in today's episode. We always do the 2 races. But for now, I was just trying to get into a rhythm. That is another rider off. I can't see who it is yet. It's actually VS Master. So VS Master qualifying P3 has an off in Kevin Schwantz, but rejoins in front of me. But there's a car park of riders in front. There is varying level of rider skills in this. You'll see some of the top guys are pro levels at the bottom, and some of the back guys are still pretty new to online racing. So it's to be expected you'll have slower riders on the track, but you just need to be careful with them. Give them space, give them the respect they deserve. Again, this guy doesn't have a name. Nice move on him. I kind of didn't fight him just because it's still early in the race. I just wanted to get a rhythm, and there's faster men in this lobby. But he gets the exit wrong. We pull alongside him. Up into 6th gear we go, and we actually have the move done into turn 1. We're just going to brake him tightly And then into turn 1 we get really close to the back of Sushi, and we leave the door wide open for the man with no name. But we do get good exit. We get right into his slipstream, and we're going to just see, can we get onto the back of him again to maybe have a move into turn 3. We both have a look at the inside of the other Calyx man, and we both slide up the inside. He's having a moment, so I just kind of let the bike sit up, leave him have his moment, and I didn't want to get involved again after what happened on lap 1. Now again, I'm not really sure our position. It says 9th on the lead up on the board to the right, but I'm not too sure about that. So at this moment in time, I'm just trying to pass as many people as I can. Sushi Boy leaves a very late move on me there. I think he outbroke himself because I didn't think he was that quick, but we will be looking to fight back. But unfortunately, as we come in now to the stadium section, we get a Zonta into the side of us, and that is down. He did receive a 5-second penalty for that, but he still believes he did nothing wrong. But it's racing, so what can you do? Unfortunately, that is us definitely out of the top 10. Just difference in lines. He takes a much different line. People say my line was weird, but I just take a tight line, and especially with everyone in front, a lot of people were running wide. I wanted to go tight and see could I cut underneath them, and Zonta just went for it. It was just kind of bad timing, and unfortunately I went down. But as we come into Kevin Schwantz, just on the exit here, there's someone going off in the gravel, but there's a man in the track, and it turns out to be Zonta, so he's had his own karma and he's fallen off a couple of corners later, so we're back in front of him, back into hopefully the top 10. But now we start our chart to see can we pull a few of these men in, because I do believe I am faster than a lot of riders in the lobby, but it's hard to tell when everyone crashing who's who and where they are on track, so it's a bit of a lottery. So I'm just trying to get into a rhythm, see can I start picking people off. I think it's that slushy guy in front of me. I think again, it'd be nice if we had a good leaderboard that we could tell where we are on track. It'd be nice. But we're starting lap 4 now, and we fast forward to the end of this lap, and we are, after catching up to him again, it is Sushi. And we end up going for a move here. I didn't even want to go for this. I kind of just got sucked into my braking zone. You'll see here I throw the hand up just as an apology, because that was a bit aggressive for me. I just broke later than him, and I had to kind of go to the inside. Thankfully, he did leave me the room, and he kind of, I think I got him by the corner, so he wasn't a full lean. But up ahead now, there's 2 men battling. One of them goes to the car park, cuts it back, so we're up now, probably P7 according to the game. So I think that is can't really, again, the names are really hard to read even in live time, and never mind. I think it's Muff Diver, and we actually go around the outside into turn 1 with Braver on the brakes, but he has the inside line, Muff Diver. But we cut back, go back to second, short shift then to third, and we should get a good exit on, funnily enough, the Muff Diver. Nice name. But up next then, another Calyx rider, and we go pretty late in the brakes. It is now motor news to mention at the start, but I just get in a bit hot. The biggest issue with this mod is when you brake, it just understeers, so you have to leave off the brake to turn the bike, so you end up running wide. Quite difficult to get moves done, and a lot of the incidents in this race, as it looks like that was Muff Diver having a huge high side out of turn 4. But we're in now behind no motor news. He's quite competent, he is able to hold his lines and stuff, so he wasn't the easiest to pass. He does hold me up a slight touch, but again, give him the respect he deserves. It's everyone's racetrack, so just didn't want to force a move on him, and I do believe there will be opportunity to pass him further in the race. So we're just going to sit here now. It says he's P7 and it says we're P6, so you don't, it's again, like, it doesn't add up where we are. So I believe somewhere in the top 8 is where I'm at the moment, and that's where I'm hoping. After qualifying 5th, I was hoping for top 5, but down into Schwantz here. Just runs it, actually doesn't, it looks like he's going to run it a bit wider, but we're just sitting on his back wheel now. He's quite good on the brakes, but a lot of the slower riders aren't, so it's quite hard to get near him on the brakes. We're just following tightly, and I think that's Zonta actually. After catching us, Zonta is pretty rapid. Him and his kind of group of riders ride these bikes a lot, so they are really well drilled with these 2020 Moto 2 bikes. And I only rode them for the first time last week, and I don't really like them that much. It would take a lot of time and setup to get them to somewhere where I would like them. I have a lot of issues with corner exit, braking, turning, pretty much everywhere at the moment. But we do come out of the final corner, we get a good exit, small bit of slipstream, and we just get alongside him for the brakes. He kind of brakes early, leaves us have it. We go a little bit tighter, a bit too tight on corner exit, but we just short shift a second, get the nose back in at the bike, but unfortunately he kind of comes up my inside and I just pick up the throttle. Third, fourth, fifth, up the box we go, and we managed to keep the move done. And it is Anta now who's right on the back wheel of the two of us. Zonta slides up the inside of Now Motor News, and back the battle will resume from Zonta. This guy is pretty much about the second half a lap quicker than me, so I'm not expecting much. And after him knocking me off the first time, I was a bit sketchy. You can see me keep looking over my shoulder. I wasn't confident in the move, but I can hear he goes for it here. You see me sit up, I give him the room, and he then hits the curb, tucks the front, and I'm in the gravel again. And yeah, he does apologise and he leaves me through and he messes me and stuff, but I was fucking fuming at the time of this because that was twice in the one race. And then again we nearly collide here, and I actually tried to leave him go past because at this point I'd lost all confidence in him, and I just didn't want him behind me because I knew he's quicker and I knew he'd have to go for the move again. So you'll see me through this sector here. I don't turn in, I kind of just leave him go, hopefully he'd go. But again, I think he felt bad that he'd knocked me off twice, so he didn't really want to go, but I just sit up there and leave him go. Tuck him behind him and just use him as a bit of a tow truck, just sit on the back of him as best we can and pull ourselves forward. But at the moment now on lap 5, now we fast forward to lap 7 and we are back now behind a man we've been behind for a lot of this race, Sushi. So we're going to try and get on the back of him. We seem to be able to brake a lot later and it was quite weird. You'll see it took a lot of time with our brakes, but in a second here we pass him and then he's literally on my back wheel for about a lap. So I don't know if he struggles to do the lap time on his own or he just was riding in his own rhythm, but as soon as I pass him he seems to have a lot more pace. We've come across line to 2:02, so not a bad lap time. I did forecast that my race pace would be in the 2:2s. For a lot of this race, when I wasn't having collisions and being passed and stuff, I was in the 2:1, so I was quite happy with my own pace. I think the track kind of evolutionized and I had good feeling with it actually in the race, which is what I didn't think I would have. Currently it does say we're in P8, but again, as I say, as we get quite deep on the brakes there to Sushi Boy, I think his name is. It's hard to read it at 150 miles an hour. But we have a few laps left now. At this point now, I just wanted to see could I pick off a few men in front of me. I did believe there's a couple of slower guys. I think that is Now Motor News in front of me and the red bike. I think he's on the MV Agusta, the red and black livery from 2020. But again, we have a look here, but again he goes for wide exit or wide entry, kind of late apex. We just take a tight line, and we're getting held up a small bit. Again, it's just with these bikes you have to get such good exit, and there's no traction with these, and the 765 3 cylinders are quite torquey, so they do spin up a touch. So I was quite gentle on acceleration. You see a lot of these places he kind of pulls away on the corner exit, and I'm good on the brakes, but it would just be a suicidal move to make them pass. But again, we just close in on braking, so we're just trying our best now to get as close to him to make a move as possible. And in here, this is where we passed him early in the race. Again, we are much better on the brakes, but we're not getting close enough out of the corner to be able to do anything with that braking power. Now Motor News has made a mistake there on the exit of Horsepower Hill. He ran quite wide. That has brought Sushi in closer. There's dirt being kicked up from someone in front, can't see who, and it ends up Now Motor News is in the gravel, so that is one position back. We take a bit of a wide entrance, try to get as much corner speed through the corner, picking up and into a slipstream. So we're going to try it maybe into turn 1. He's a quick look over his shoulder. We have a good run on him, and again our favourite overtaking spot down into turn 1, and this time we don't actually run it that wide. We managed to just get a stop in mid-corner and hold him up mid-corner. You can see he got a better exit in. We touch the grass though, which leaves him alongside me, and it's side by side, 2 Calixes. I give him a little wave, and then into the brakes here, into turn 3. We just brake a little later and just turn in, make sure we get it stopped. So that is up to P6 if the standings are correct. Bit of a tank slapper there in the change of direction. I can't see who this is. I was actually a backmarker, Matty, or he's been lapped. He's not a backmarker, he's quite quick, but I think a bit of lag and a couple of collisions at the start of the race ruined his race for Matty, and he's further back than he should be for his genuine pace. But we have pretty much 2 laps remaining here, almost back to where we qualified. So at this point I just wanted to kind of bring it home here. But as I said, we did pass Sushi, and he is pretty quick now that he's behind me. I don't know if you can see my braking markers or he just has someone to follow. But unfortunately then, as we're coming up to start the final or the penultimate lap, I make a big mistake in here. What happens is I realise I broke in too late, broke too hard, and I just went sideways, and I then just lay it down before I got to the gravel so I could reset faster, and that has let Sushi off, and that has pretty much given him P6, I believe. Still says I'm P6, but judging on where I finish, I should be P7 now. So unfortunately, that was the end of that race. We come home in P7. It says P8 on the board, but we crossed the line, bottom left, P7, 5.5 seconds off the winner. Not too bad, not too good. So the race comes down. It was Nerb 1 who beat his brother, Nerb 2. VS Master, so basically the podium was the front row coming home. Zonta ends up P5. Sushi comes home in P6 and I'm P7. Now Motor News goes up to P9. Good result for him. Biker drops back one position. He actually didn't realise that the first lap wasn't a siding lap, and he was basically coasting and crashed on it, got stuck in the barrier and was like 11 seconds behind. So big issues there with the game, unfortunately, for Biker, but he will look to have a stronger race for race 2. But yeah, P7, not too bad, not too good. I reckon I can challenge for the top 5 in race 2. Now we're on P4, so we've moved up. Zonta's moved up. I think VS Master's left. We give Biker a little wave. He chose us to fingers up. Nice little quick moment. But we're on the grid now. 4 red lights. We've moved up. Zonta's on the front row with the Nerbs. I am in Zonta's P4. And can we get a good start? No, we actually get a horrendous start. I don't know what I did wrong, but then I kind of panic. I leave the clutch out, pop a big wheelie, back to P10. But this actually will come into my benefit. You'd see I have a quick look over my shoulder there. I look to the inside just to make sure I'm not going to cut everyone up. A lot of riders, again, these bikes are under series, so you'll notice everyone just runs wide with them. And a lot of people believe that's the way to ride them. I still try and take corner speed and stuff, but it's part of racing, I suppose. Everyone has different styles and lines. But now into turn 4, wait for it, there he goes. Now Motor News, unfortunately, completely gets his braking wrong. Kills Biker, 2 other riders there. So I think we made up about 6 positions in one corner. I passed 2 on the brakes, 2 others got crashed, and then another fella crashed on exit. So we're up now to P3, just in the distance. You'll see there, that is, I believe, Zonta and Nerb. So again, Zonta having a bad day here. He's having another incident into that corner. I don't know who was at fault for that. I believe one of them definitely was Zonta. I don't know which Nerb it was though, because I know now I'm in the lead of the race. So after having a poor start, dropping back to 10th, halfway around the lap, and we're up to the top position in the race. We're leading in the race, and Sushi in behind. So I believe my pace is better than his. So at this point now, I was just like, just get into rhythm, take it lap after lap and see. I know Zonta, Nerb 2, they'll all have better pace, and they'll be coming back at me later in the race if I can keep in it. But even at that, even if the 3 of them pass me, maybe VS Master, I could still get a comfortable top 5. But that is another rider just tucking the front at Kevin Schwantz. I don't know exactly who it was, but I know that Sushi is still tucked in behind me on my back wheel. But we're coming out towards the end of lap 1. The best lap 1, you can see there's a big gap behind P2 to P3, so there's been a lot of crashes here in the opening. So we are doing pretty well, leading, but we do know that we're going to be under serious attack later in the race when the Nerbs and Zonta and the few others get into their rhythm. But we come across the line to end lap 1, and now we fast forward to the end of lap 2, and already we've a little American behind me, Nerb 1, and now he is my teammate, so I don't really fight him too hard because there's a team championship, so I don't really battle him too much. You'll see I kind of have a quick look over my shoulder a few times just to make sure it's him and it wasn't Zonta, because Zonta is in the rival team. So when it comes to Zonta, I do defend a bit harder, and just because team points are everything in this. But you can see Nerb, he's just ridiculously quick to me, so I don't even try and fight him. You'll see in a minute here, I think into turn 1 I just run a touch wide, purposely just leave him through. You can see I give him a little wave, and he is rapid. We go 2 minute 1.3, so we're actually on serious pace myself. Like, that is pretty good pace. You see in there, I just have a quick look, just leave it go wide. He goes to the inside, and that is I'm up to the lead. Now what I want to do is I want to sit in his back wheel and just kind of go with him. You can see here I get pretty close to him. I give him a little wave, he waves back, and I just brake nice and early. I have no need to challenge him. You can just see how much his bike is moving. But even from this little section here, you can just see exactly how he makes up his time. His lines are just so sweet. Just kisses the late apex there and gets a beautiful exit and just pulls away from me. It's just I think he's been on this game a lot longer than I have, and he just kind of mastered the lines and the cornering, especially with these bikes, a lot better than I have. He's just rapid on all categories on this game. And yeah, I was pretty happy he's in my team, he's not against me, because I wouldn't have nothing to fight him with. But now we fast forward to lap 4. This is our fastest lap of the race. So the last lap was a 2 minute 1.3, so we're banging in low 2 minute ones. This time we dropped down into the 2 minutes, so that is ridiculously fast for me in the race. That was pretty much as quick as I could go. We're on lap 6 now. Nerb is in the distance. Zonta is actually ahead of me according to the timing screens, but he's not. He's behind me. I believe he's that guy just behind me there on track. So I'm going to do my best just to stay in front and try and avoid him. And hopefully we don't have a third collision, because there'll be serious questions asked if we had a third collision. But he knows himself what he has to do to get past. He does have serious pace compared to me, so I wasn't really expecting much of a battle. I knew eventually he would manage to get around me, but I did want to fight him as much as I can. I know Nerb is quicker than him, and Nerb wouldn't really, unless Nerb crashed, this wouldn't be any issue for Nerb. But I still wanted to fight it for the team. See, can we get a 1-2 after Nerb 2 got a 1-2 with his brother in race 1. I wanted the second 1-2 for the R Racing team, but Zonta has other ideas, unfortunately, and with 3.5 laps remaining, it's going to be a hard press to keep Zonta on the backside of me and not in front of me. So again, into these braking zones, I am expecting him to go for it, and we actually trying to defend it here. I felt like he's going for it, touch the grass, and into P2 Zonta goes. Now we try our best to get on his back wheel and follow him, but like, it's vividly clear from just being behind him, he has a lot more rear grip than me and a lot more confidence out of the corner. He just has much, maybe it's set up or better feeling, I don't know, but he just has way better rear grip and he can just drive out of the corner, and that is a bit of an issue for me. So we try our best to stick with him, keep him under pressure, maybe force a mistake, gives us a wave, he waves back at us, and I try my best to stick with him, but 2 seconds a lap, especially when he has clear track in front of him, there's not much I can do really to stick with him. I'm riding as best I can just to kind of stick this close to him for this long. But yeah, these guys are a league above me at the moment, and I'll need a lot of practice, especially with these bikes, because these bikes aren't, they're something they kind of train on, they ride a lot, but I don't like them, so I don't ride them that much, and you end up just not having that kind of feel for it. So when you end up racing against them, you're always up against it. But unfortunately, Zonta goes wide, and there's a crash or up, and there's a bike in the middle of the track. He goes to the grass, we cut to the inside, we just light up the rear tyre. Look at that, spinning up his inside, give him a little wave up through the gear. So we've actually managed to repass Zonta, but into turn 1 again, I know he's going to get me. We have a bit of a moment on entry, he's right on the back of me, carries so much speed in, we just go wide and he's back through again. So back down to P3 with just over 2 laps remaining. Again, we got good slipstream here. I kind of wanted to shadow him and go for it and maybe show him a wheel, but I said no, he's taken me out twice, I'm not going to take him out, I'll be the better one, and I'm going to stick on him. But again, you can just see their racing line, the way they just kiss the late apex and just fire out of the corner nicer than I can. They can just do better than I can at the moment, so something to work for. It's good to see though, when you ride against the best, you can just see where they're able to do it, where you can't. Again, wide hair for me, he's perfectly on the apex, out to the curb. So I have a lot of work to do to be getting to the level of Zonta or Nerbs or any of them fast boys. But there's other mods that I'm much better and much more comfortable on. This is probably one of my least favourites. So to be only 2 seconds off one of the top guys, I wasn't too unhappy with that. But now we fast forward, Zonta has disappeared. You can just see his dot in the distance there, exiting turn 1. It is the final lap, we're in P3. No sign of Nerb 2. I think he had a big moment at the start of the race, a couple of crashes, some not his fault, so he was further back than he would have liked. But we're going to come home hopefully for our first podium. If there's a mistake from Zonta, we might be able to get P2, but it's unlikely for him to make a mistake on this final lap. I was pretty comfortable coming home P3, doing low 2 minute 2s. I was well within my rhythm. You could just see here, just kind of short shifting, making sure I didn't run out of fuel, and just having a quick look over my shoulder, making sure no one is behind me. And then we see this right here, and it's actually not Zonta. I thought it was Zonta after running off, and I got a bit excited thinking we were going to get the 1-2, but it wasn't to be, unfortunately. So we're in the stadium section now for the final time. We're going to come home for a P3, P7 to P3, pretty decent results. I would have taken them at the start of the weekend, but that is on in the wall. You can see I nearly crashed myself because I didn't realise it. Unfortunately for him, his controller died and he mid-corner rolled off the track, and I've been gifted P2. So we're going to come home for another 1-2 for the team. Thankfully, Nerb is way in the distance, so 5 seconds up the road. At this point now, I kept looking over my shoulder. I knew he wouldn't be able to catch me. I felt it was revenge for the first race for the 2 collisions, but P2, my first podium in the league, and coming home in P2 in a track and bike combination I wasn't most confident in. I was happy about this. Again, long look over the shoulder, bit of a hand wave. I am buzzing for this one, I was delighted. Bit of show button now, we just back it in here. I know I have the time, just backing it down the gears, bit of rear brake, slide it in. And into the final corner we come. We're going to do it. We're going to get our podium. Absolutely delighted. Again, hands in the air. It's a bit of a wheelie across the line, up the line even. P2, almost killing Nerb across the line as he had already won. So what a lovely race. It was 18 seconds behind Nerb, so his race pace was ridiculous. But yeah, Zonta comes home in P3. He did get his controller going. Sushi managed P5. Biker recovered to P8 after being taken out at the start, so a good recovery ride. But 2 1-2s for the team, so that was overall a great day's racing. So that is the end of round 3. Coming home with 2 decent performances, 1 decent result. I suppose P7 wasn't too bad. With the 2 crashes though, I was pretty unhappy with Zonta after race 1. But for him, bad luck in the second race, his controller died. At the time, I was absolutely delighted. I felt like it was revenge for the incidents in race 1s, but we won't go into that. But overall, very happy with my own performances and great points for the championship. A lot of the top riders were missing in the championship, so we will definitely close in at the top of the championship. I will post the championship in the community feed. It just take a couple of days to be done, so by the time I have the video done and stuff, the points aren't done, so I don't show them in the video. So I will post them in the community tab once I have them. But yeah, overall 2 solid rides, a great result getting my first podium, and I'm really happy with my performance in that one, and we'll definitely move up a lot in the championship. But I'm going to leave it there for today's episode. If you did enjoy, drop a like down below and subscribe to see more in the future, and thank you all for watching. Bye bye.